this software. It's the software that's doing the heavy lifting. Okay, like I said, you need to work on your mindset. It plays a massive part to this. This is a real business. You know, just because we can get started for $20 or less than $100 doesn't mean it's not a real business. It's an absolute real business in every dimension. But getting your mindset right and all that good stuff is part of the territory. But what I want to share with you on the call is, like I said, the software that does the heavy lifting, which is going to make it profitable, hopefully profitable for any one of you guys, regardless of your level of skill. Now, you see on my chart here, you got red candles and you got green candles, right? And you got in between that, you got some gray candles. Okay. Now, I just want to talk to you about that in itself, especially for those who've never traded. Red candles is when we are looking at selling the market when price is going down, and the green candles is when price is going up. So whatever the asset we're trading, we're going to make money as it goes up. Now, a lot of people are not aware, and this is why I love currency trading, because with currency trading, it doesn't matter if the market is up or the market's down. You can make money in either scenario. Just only when it's oscillating, when it's going sideways, there's, for the most part, you can't make money for when it's going in that way, unless you're a bit more advanced and you know how to scalp and stuff like that. Then, but I'm talking for the most part, you're only going to really be making the money, and especially how I'm going to share with you, as the alerts come in and you take a buy trade and you make the money as the market goes up, or you get a sell trade, and it's really clear because you're going to see either a red signal or a green signal. This allows you to be doing whatever you want with your busy lives and not to be glued to the screen 24/7. Okay, so this is all accessible from your cell phone, or if you've got a desktop. I prefer trading on the desktop, but you can do this all from your cell phone, anywhere in the world, on the beach, wherever. All right, so I just want to show you this chart here, because this is going to form the what I'm going to share with you. So let me just highlight this a little bit. Let me bring up my little highlighter here. Boom, boom, boom. And let me know if I'm going too fast or too slow. Just message, or if you want me to repeat something, I will do that. So you're going to see this silhouette. And if you can't see it, I'm going to highlight it to you. This block, this represents an hour candle. So that means it took 1 hour between 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. to form this body. Okay. So the market went as low in this session from 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock. The market went as low as we see this line here. This is what we call a wick. So you've got the body, the silhouette of the body, and you've got the wick at the top and you've got the wick at the bottom. Not every candle has a wick, and there's different things about that I'm not going to go into today as to trading it. But just to show you, we went from red on the hour before that. Can you see that? We had red candles, and then we went into this session, which is from 8 till 9, we had green candles. So for those of you who are, I've got people on here that are in the UK, got people in North America, and I don't know anywhere else where people might be. Oh yeah, in Jamaica as well. So similar time zone to what we have in North America. So as I go through, I'm just going to throw some nuggets just for you to just make a note of. But you don't necessarily need to know that in order to be successful. But I think it will help you to understand what's happening at these certain times of the day. So leading up to the 8 o'clock candle, this is 8 o'clock Eastern, right? Which is 1 o'clock in the UK, GMT time. The market is changing from the New York market going live to what the London session was. There's a handover between London and New York. And the most volume... Okay, my friend is praying. Let me just mute him. The most profitable time or sessions is London and New York for the most volatility and most volume in the market. So those are the hours we try and trade around. You can trade outside of that. I'm going to show you some data that will back up what I'm telling you. But just so that you know, typically what happens when the New York session kicks off, it could be in a completely different direction or directory to what the London session was doing. So the London session might be all red, might be selling the dollar. In this example was the dollar against the Swiss franc. When the New York session kicked in, we went the other direction and we were looking for buy trades. Okay, so I'm going to move this slide on. Oh, no, I'm going to move it on yet. So in the software, it's going to tell us, and these are the things we want to line up. Again, for you note takers, we just want a few conditions to be met. One of them is that does this green candle, now these candles are smaller. These are 1 minute candles. So we have 60 of these candles within this hour candle, within the frame of the hour. So we want three things to line up. We want the momentum, which is a 4 hour candle, to match up with the green silhouette on a 1 hour, to match the 1 minute candle, which is the candle we're placing the trades on. That's when we execute. Okay, we're not waiting for the whole hour to close. We're going to trade within the hour based on us getting alerts and things of that nature. Now,
Sorry, Leroy. Sorry
yeah,
about that. You
sure, go for it.
you froze there. You froze there. You
Oh,
mentioned the 4 hour momentum, the green silhouette, and the 1 minute candle you mentioned as well. Because
yeah.
that's you froze after the silhouette. So what did you
Okay.
say? The three that have to match up. Sorry about that.
No, that was, yeah, you would freeze, as we know, in Canada, but that wasn't the reason. So yeah, so so the three things need to line up. We want the momentum for our, in this example, we're buying the market. So because we're buying the market, we're looking to go long. Yeah. So we're going long, we're going up. So we want the green to match the green silhouette here. And then we want the candle itself to be green. Now, not just any green, light green. So you see this light green color? It's the same color as the momentum color. This is letting us know that this is the direction, the market, there's volume moving in that right direction. You'll see that there's a darker green where the candles are going, down. There's a bit of what we call a retracement, but there's no need for panic, no need for anything. The only time you can see maybe the candles running out of momentum or running out of steam, the first sign of that is when they go to gray. But from gray going to green is good. From same thing from if it was selling the market and we went from silver to red, that's a good time to be buying the market. Of course, if everything lines up. So we want that to line up with the outside with the 1 minute. Yeah. So hopefully that's clear on that. We can set an alert, which I'll show you on the live chart, so that you're not glued to the screen. You're doing whatever you want with your life. And then the only time you need to really be paying any attention is when we get an alert delivered to your phone, and then you can start to look at placing the trade. All right. So I'll show you that in a minute. I just want to show you one more thing. And this just adds a layer for those of you who, want to kind of maximize your returns. When a trade is set up or in motion, we're looking at a thing called a break and retest. So one thing that we see in the markets, and it prints itself over charts time and time again, we see a level which is called either support or resistance. Okay. So again, this line here, for example, this is just, this bottom line is what we would call support, right? So this bottom line is called support, and the top line up here, we would call it resistance. Okay, this is typically what happens where price gets to a level that it's been at before, and it comes down and tests it. So can you see on the previous candle, we had a line here where price broke above it, and it came back down and it sat on it. So at one point, this was resistance, and now the resistance turns into support. When that happens, it's a really good opportunity to actually place a trade and make money, because you've got some foundation for the trade to make money from. Similarly, up the top here, this is normally where price will stop you out, and then it will go in the other direction. As you saw here, This was a resistance level. Price came around, turned grey, and it started to go the other direction. And then we started the next hour, and guess what? We started off with an alert, and then we waited for that to actually break. We had a break and a retest. So this line of resistance can become a line of support, which is what you want to look for. Okay, I have a hand up. So Russell, open your mic. Let us know. Hopefully,
yeah. Thanks, Leroy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Do you use the zigzag indicator to show your levels of resistance and support?
No, I don't. And all what I'm showing you with you on this software, it has it all built in. So great question. So what I love about this is, one, it's a system that if you decide to trade with this, it does all of those levels for you. And so what I love about this, and it's a great question, you see this red line, this was printed by the software. So it lets you know there's a certain level of either support or resistance. So at one point, this was a resistance line. And then when price broke above it and came back down, it now becomes our support line. So it's automatically printed. And I just literally drew that line in so that I can see the extension of when it's going to break, come back to test, and then we take it off. But like I said, the software is going to do all the heavy lifting for you regarding indicators and things of that nature. Typically, indicators are lagging. Okay, so you get an indicator, especially those free ones you get with MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, they're all lagging. They print beautifully after the move has happened, after you've lost your money, and you can like look back and it prints. It's not going to give you the full story, whereas this software has been coded and a lot of money has been spent on it, and there is a cost to it if you did want to trade with it. Okay, so we're going to show you. So my goal and my objective here is not just to try and sell you a software per se, but for you to just understand how the markets is working. Even if you don't want the software and you're doing it on your own, that there's certain things you can look out for on your own terms. Okay, but for me personally, and I can only speak for me, and maybe Tom, if you want to, I know you are coming new into this. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to have that time with you. And so, because your goal was to make about 1 to 2% a day, right? And so this software allows for that to happen. So I don't know if you want to mention anything before I move on, Tom. Otherwise, we can.
Yeah, so I'm relatively green to the market, and this software. Sorry, can you hear me? Yeah, this software
Perfect.
has it's easy to use, easy to navigate, and Leroy's been real patient on showing me how to use the software effectively. So very easy to learn and understand when to trade and when to sell. So it's the learning curve has been pretty seamless. So yeah, so I'm
Awesome.
happy with it right now at this point, up to this point. So
Great. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I think it's good to hear from somebody who's never traded before, and how they feel about the product. Because for most people who lose money in the markets, me included, is that they don't sit on their hands enough. They want to be actively doing something, even when there's no trading signal, there's no setup. But your mind will trick you because you want to make money that day or whatever, and you'll be like, "Oh, I'm sure there's a trade there," right? But there's not.
one thing I wanted to add, Leroy, is
Sure.
the alerts that it prompts my phone with the
Yeah.
alerts,
Yeah.
and that's really helpful too. Because once I get the alert, I go onto the chart, the trading view chart, and that's when I see the trading signal, and then I
Right.
can follow the silhouette to see if it's a good time to kind of get in, right? So those alerts help, is what I'm trying to say. Thanks.
Awesome. Brilliant. Fantastic. Yeah, I think it's good for people to know that as well. Now, especially if you, like I said, you're busy during the day, you might be busy during these hours. And so if you're at work or you've got other stuff going on, getting an alert that you can place a trade a few minutes later is great. So, all right. Okay. Total traders. Wow. That's right. Oh my days. Fantastic. Yeah. Russell just mentioned about total traders. If you don't know about the total traders, look them up. They're legendary. What they did, I actually met one of them in London. They had an event. I bought the stuff, never really used it. but I was fascinated because they took everyday people who didn't know how to trade, and as a group, they made money from the markets. So, but it's legendary. You look them up as to what they went on to do. So yeah, he just reminded me about that. Definitely keep sitting on your hands, mate. Now, in the data that was shared, I found this fascinating. I trade the Nasdaq, and does anybody not know what the Nasdaq is? If you don't know, just put a 1 in the chat for me, and this will put it in context. So the New York market, the New York Stock Exchange starts at 9:30 Eastern, which is 2:30 in the afternoon GMT. This is where the markets are the most volatile, especially depending on the pair you're trading. Now, Nasdaq, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, all of that is in that mix. Okay, gold, all of that. So these are assets that have high volatility, and it's like, I don't know, if you ever been on Bunko Brilli, you know, one of those wild, but what's the animal? I can't remember the animal now. That you'll get on, like a horse, right? But no, it's not a horse. It's a bull. So you're on a bull, right? And you know, in Spain they do those bullfighting and stuff like that. You trying to make money from those assets, you could be bloodied, but you could be like destroyed. But why do people love going back on there? They love the thrill, they love the adrenaline, and they want to master being on a bull. Bunko Brilli, something like that. Anyway, this is like trading these assets. They're very volatile, but they are so profitable. You only need a few minutes out of your day to literally make enough money that you're done with. Like seriously, life-changing money is made at these hours. But most people lose their shirt because of the reasons why I've just mentioned. It's not easy to be able to ride that. Now, I'm going to show you something which blew me 100% out the water, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to share this Zoom today. You know, anytime I come across something that I feel is of massive value, especially to people that I know who want to make money from the markets, I will tell them about it. Now, of course, a lot of the time there is a referral element to it, but primarily it has to do what it says on the tin. If it's no good, there's who's going to waste their time and money with something that doesn't work. So I'm only going to share with you because I've experienced it, and I want you guys, if you are so well inclined, to experience it for yourself. Okay, so check this out. I would say there's a cost to the software, which we'll talk about in a minute, and there's a cost to everything. There's a cost if you don't use it. There's a cost if you want to learn on YouTube. There's a cost, even though YouTube is free, there's a cost to everything, right? We're in business to make money here. And I'm showing you personally the quickest way I feel that anybody, regardless of their skill set, can make money from the markets without losing. And the goal here is being risk averse. You know, really, risk management is 100% key to everything I'm talking here, right? Rather opposed to making tons of money. If you're losing tons of money, you'll never make loads of money. Just, it's really straightforward. So what I was gonna allude to saying is, the software is one thing, the community is something else. I'm going to show you the community. I'm showing you what motivated me when I started to see some results from the community. But the guy who created this software, which I'm going to go into, he's on the calls with us live Monday to Friday, and his knowledge, I mean, this guy is a 7-figure trader. Is he 6-figure? He's close to being a 7-figure trader, so making over $1 million a year. Okay, he's very close to that. So we're talking about somebody who knows his stuff. So the calls we have with him are gold. Now, he built this software primarily for himself, and normally when people do something that's of great value and they're not, they're people who are abundance mind driven, they want to share it with others, and ultimately bless other lives, build other people up. And you do it. Trading is a lonely game. So it's great when you have a community. One thing he shared with us was this chart here. The best trading hours, Can you guys see that? Well, this is all Eastern time, right? So again, if you're in the UK, you're going to have to add 5 hours to this. 7 a.m. Now, I didn't know that. I was always like, yeah, let me get in before 9:30, or let me at least get up by 8, because 8 o'clock, the New York is open. Let's go. Let's make money. But in his data, yeah, you know, he's using data. There's AI. There's so much ways you can extract data now. He found that 7 o'clock, they had a 100% win ratio. 100%. Now, 10R, my friends. So this means if he risks $100, he's looking to make $1,000 in that session. 10 to 1, right? Same thing at 8 o'clock. They found an 100% win ratio. Not in 9:30 where the crazy volatility, everything's going mad, leading up to all of that craziness. Again, 10.78. This is in their data. Okay, so there's no lying about this. This is like what he extrapolated. What I found was interesting was 11 o'clock at night, which is 4 a.m. in the UK, 16.5 return, and even 8R return at 1 a.m., which is about 6 o'clock in the morning. The NAS. Now, I did notice NAS doing well in what we call the Asian session. So there's 3 main sessions. You've got the London session, which is the creme of the creme, the most volume. You got New York, and then you got the Asian session where the volumes do go down, but it's still profitable, as you can see here, right? So these were in London, the 7 a.m. and no, 7 a.m. is still in the London session. The 8 a.m. is the New York, and then these last 2 are in the in Asia. So for me, it's like regardless of your time zone and the hours you have, pick a time that works. Based on our data, you can make money out of any of these time zones. All right. So let me just show you that. I was shared this on Wednesday, and I sent this to Tom. And I was like, Tom, look at this. This is incredible. Now, Thursday morning, which was only 2 days ago, I knew this information, but I still decided to get up minutes to 8. This is what I saw when I woke up. I was like, come on, here you go. This is what I saw, my friends. My screenshot didn't nail the times at the bottom. I need to redo this because I want you to see the actual times. But I'm going to highlight this. After knowing this information the day before, look what it went and did. Look what it went and done. This is 7 o'clock candle, right? 7 o'clock. So this is 7:01, 7:02. So 7:02, we got this move on the NAS. Now, my friends, I want to ask you a question. If your goal is to make, and you need to have goals written down clear, and you do not break these goals, you need to have your goals written out. And I say this to Tom when we meet up about your goal. I'm going to mute the lines again. Guys, make sure your line's mute. Unless you're asking me a question, then unmute. And if you're asking a question, just raise your hand and then I can come to you so that I'm not breaking my train of thought. Thanks. So this is at 7:02. Now, I know not everybody trades the NAS, but I'm just giving an example of what happened. Okay, I'm going to come back to you in a second. I'm going to show you what happened with this. Based on the data that I just knew the day before, on the Thursday morning, look what it goes and does, just to prove a point, right? It broke down. We had the sell-off on the NAS, and there was a fantastic trade, right? Now, like I said, whatever your goal is, your risk to reward is key. So you saw earlier, right, on the previous, you're talking about a 10R. So making 10 times your what you call your risk. So in trading, we have what we call a stop loss and a TP level. So an SL and a TP, a take profit level. So you could say to yourself, and I'm going to introduce you to one other indicator. There's only 2 indicators on this chart. The software itself and something called VWAP, which some of my guys who I've traded with know a lot about, right? VWAP for me is one of the most amazing indicators. It's volume weighted average price indicator that you put on your chart, and once you put it on your chart, you'll be, let me just mute the lines there. You'll be quite blown away on how your entries can be when you place trades. So I'm going to come to Hussein, and then I'll go back to finishing off my example. So Hussein, do you want to unmute yourself, or do you want to type something?
Yeah, where do I sign?
Where do you sign up?
Yeah.
I'll tell you afterwards. Yeah, I'll tell you after. You ain't seen nothing yet, but I'll tell you afterwards. But I know you've seen enough. And this is a guy who's a successful trader. All right, so he knows his stuff. So I want to show you that how accurate this is. Now, you do not need to be sitting in front of your computer waiting for the trade. Get on with your life. Do whatever you need to do. But just know you need to be in a position to activate trades. Get ready. Preparation. I think Stormy Wellington was talking. I don't know if you guys know Stormy Wellington. She was talking about preparation, and it's all about the preparation. So you want to know your account's ready, your software's up. You're not fumbling about, because there's a lot of money on the line here. You're ready to rock and roll between these certain times that I'm talking about, right? And if it means you need to get up a bit earlier, get up a bit earlier. If you need to change where you take your break at work or whatever, change the time at break. If you know between 7 and 8 or between 8 and 9 is the most profitable times, just work it so that you're free to be able to take these trades without, or just finally go to the toilet if you need to, right? So we had this trade, the Nas broke out. We have this, what we call this area here. I'm going to show you these dashes, these little dashes here. They are automatically put in for you. So that's what we call a trailing stop. So when you come in, this and you can put what we call your stop at the top of the candle. There's a point where I marked this box because I'm looking for a certain break to happen. But you can literally place that trade. You put your stop in place, and excuse me, you can use this line, which is part of the VWAP, as part of what we call your break-even point. This means your stop is up here, right? So again, let me just write on here, your stop is up here. And you could use this line here as your TP level. So when price hits here, boom, you could be done. You can be more, if you're more skillful as a trader, you know what you're doing. You can maybe place 2 trades, right? You can have a dual trades going on, things of that nature. But let's just stick with the one. You've done that. You made your profit. Now your profit could be, you could have hit your profit target, your 1%, or how many pips, 20 pips and stuff like that. Again, for those of you who are new to the terminology, I am going to leave some resources, and I do have a WhatsApp group where I'll be sharing some of that information. Feel free if you want to join it. So that could be that. Now the second thing, so your TP would be on this candle here. I just want to show you, let me just draw that, would be there. That would be the first ping, and you'll be done, right? You would have made your money. Your trade would have automatically closed. You would have gotten with your day. That, you know, that could be you. You can set your stop up there, put your TP there, or you decide, you know what, I'm a bit more advanced, or I like the fact I've got this what we call VWAP line on my chart. And so typically what happens around the VWAP area, you get what we call a level of rejection. Okay, you're going to get some pushback. Now, doesn't mean the trade's over, far from it. It just means that you're going to get some pullback coming back this direction. Remember what I said about the break and retest? It comes up here, and then it comes down here. All right, so price comes up, it does a zigzag. Boom. I think, you know, Russell was talking about zigs up and then zigs down. Strange. I've got my hand up. What have I got my hand up for? Anyway, so it does that, and then it does this move. Okay, so we're not out of the trade by any means. We are necessarily, we could be going back in again, right? We could be going back in where you see this. You see this candle here? This could be another entry, maybe a bit more of an advanced thing, or you could just let the trade run, my friends. You don't even need to use this as a TP if you don't want to. This is just me bagging some profit before I go, and you know, I want to start the day with some profit. You know, Don't want to be up early and I've not made anything. I want to be up, I want to make money, and then I want to then do this, right? I want to be riding the trade down until, my friends, we get a green, before we get a green, we get a gray candle. Now, for those of you who've never traded before, if I just tell you, you trade when we get the red, you come out when we see gray. Because what typically happens for a lot of people who trade the markets, anybody just give a random answer? What do you think what happens for most people who trade the markets? Type in the chat or just unmute yourself if you think you got an idea.
Sorry, when it goes gray, I believe that the market is reversing.
Yeah, that's it. But if you didn't have this, right, and you was in a trade, what do most people normally do when they're in profit? What do they normally do? Because they're afraid that they're gonna lose money. What do you think most people do?
Close it.
Exactly. Thank you, Glenn. They cut their profits short and they let their losers run because they like, oh, you know what? Let me move this line here. Even though like this software is going to prevent you from doing manual stuff that you would, as human beings, because we get emotional. And I'm going to show you how you can be non-emotional in a minute. You go against what the software is telling you or what you know as a trader is telling you, because now your risk, instead of you risking 0.5% or 1%, you're now risking 10% of your account because you moved your stop because you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get played out, rather than it just taking you out and you living to see another day. You get taken out and you're taken out by chunks. So as Hussein said, you ride it till it goes gray. So you, for the whole candle, pretty much that whole candle at 8 o'clock till 8 o'clock, you was in the money. This literally, this that's why I was like, my God, I'm gonna have to share this with my guys, because this is exactly what happened. Is yeah. Oh, let me look at the chat as well. Let me look at, you know, what the chart is doing, and this literally happened the Thursday before Good Friday, 2 days ago. So I couldn't get a fresher chart even if I wanted to, because obviously Friday there was no market. So let me just see here. Tom Hugot. I know that name. Scenario planning, interesting. Yeah, excellent. Okay, once hit TP break, even move stop loss. Yep, entry straight. Yep, they lose. Absolutely, they lose. Yeah, I'm just seeing the chat now. So yeah, you did mention that, Russell, about Tom Hogarth. I need to have a tune into him. There's so many phenomenal guys out there, and what they said decades ago is, you know, relevant as it is today. So do you remember what I said about the market pre New York market? You'll find the market going one way. New York opens, guess what? We start going another way. So again, this is another example, another chart of us going one way. Then, you know, we have this turnaround, and guys, this turnaround was huge. If I go on the live chart, I'll show you. This became a monster as a buy trade. Now you're going to see it in a minute, because I showed some examples on how I was trading on NAS in the WhatsApp group. This became an absolute stormer from the entry levels around 10:30 all the way to the end of the day on Thursday. I was like, to be honest, I was a bit pissed. I missed this. I was like, oh my goodness, look at that. I knew the information and I slept through it literally. And then the next hours, the software just bing, and I was in, mate. And I'm telling you, I was in late, and I still made good. And I'm going to show you that, because I think it's really important you see that. So I labored on that a bit long, but I just really wanted to show y'all what I'm dealing with there. So let me just clear my drawings. All right, so let me just go on now. So this is why I love this software. Is it moving? Okay. So again, this is basically how the software will look on the chart. Okay. Now the charts are the charts. Okay. I would say this has been optimized for gold and Nasdaq. The other instruments we'll have to talk about another time. But I have been showing, and I have been trading with Tom, and we have been making money on currency pairs like the Aussie dollar, like the dollar Swiss, like pound dollar. Okay, it will work. Same way, a chart is a chart, but I'm talking about optimization now, where we know there's certain hours and stuff like that. When you have assets like this, like gold, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, and you have what we call the NQ. Okay, so if you're trading futures, NQ, Nasdaq, if you're trading Forex. So I'm just going to show you again. We have a buy alert on this is Nasdaq. Now, some of these charts, I started to optimize the chart because I was on my screen. I didn't have it in the right. I had it on the broker I use, which is Vantage. But it's been optimized for Pepperstone. But I went onto TradingView and I changed it again. When I changed it again, the alerts were even more crystal clear. So to answer the question, you do not need to have a broker account with Pepperstone or Capital.com or Vantage or whatever. But this had been optimized on Pepperstone and Oana is the other one. But I optimized it on Capital.com, and the alert that I'm seeing, I'm getting better entries than if I had it on the other one. So that made a massive difference. So again, I'm using Pepperstone in this example. So Pepperstone, these are big brokers, right? But when I changed it, it was even better. So just show you get the alert here. There's certain rules about trade alerts, pullbacks, and stuff like that. But I'm just going to show you here these dashes, right? If you're going to trail this will keep you in the trade longer than you just maybe putting a trail here, because some of these wicks will take you out. But again, your target is whatever it is for the day. You'll see what that comes to. So one really important bit of information I discovered is trading the new candle. Okay, and like I said, this software, the color of the candle that starts the trade, and in fact some of these alerts that come mid candle won't show up anymore going forward. They'll be a bit more tighter. They'll be more down here. So again, you'll get this move where at the beginning of the candle, and this might be in an 8 o'clock candle, I'm not sure, I should have put the time in. You'll see this move here, the start of a candle. You may get that green to gray. When you go from gray to green, you're really like, it's like that traffic light system where obviously we have amber. You're now like, whoa, this is go time. Even though you had an alert prior to the this 8 o'clock candle, leading into the 8 o'clock session, we had this. Remember what I said about going from New York session to London, New York? Actually, sorry, you can only go from London to New York. London to New York is that change of direction, right? So whatever was taking place, we had this move here, right? So the gray turned into green. The green at the top, the 4 hour momentum would match this 1 hour candle, and the 1 minute candles matches it. This is why you shouldn't be losing big. You're going to lose trades 100%. Get used to it. But you're not losing big. You're winning big and you're losing small. And so if you just follow that basic principle that you stayed in this trade, and I'm just going to play devil's advocate. You just literally, you don't even care about the rules. You're just looking at colors. So you said, oh, you know what? I'm seeing this. I'm going to take a trade. Boom, I'm in. And when it turns gray, I'm out. So you let's say you took that and you took an L. It might be actually be more break even, but let's say you took an L. You waited for it to go to gray to green again, and you sat on it and you rid it. Even when you thought it was coming back, you're not panicking. Your stop is down here. You're in this trade. There's no gray. There's no gray. There's no gray. There's no gray. When did we get a gray? An hour later, right? An hour later. So if you just literally let the software do its thing and you do your thing, then it's all good. Money's going to be made. Now, showing you on a sell scenario, we get a signal here. We get a buy signal. Guys, do we take a buy signal if the body of the candle is red? Answers on a postcard. Absolutely not, right? We're not touching it. We're ignoring it. All right. Now, we wait. The silhouette is red. The higher time frame, the 4 hour is red, would be red. So we're waiting for this bad boy to hit off. We get this alert. Guess what? We get that little bit of what I say. We get that maybe pullback. You could go in if you're like aggressive. You're like, boom, I seen the alert. Boom, I ain't got time. I'm on my lunch break. Let me just put the trade. You could be that person, and you can put the stop just above your entry. Okay, could be up here, and then you let it ride, and then you, whatever your TP level, it could be here. This could be your TP level, right? Because it's let me just show you. Again, I'm probably in reality, a lot of this stuff, depending how much of a trader you want to be, some of this stuff you may not want to even consider. But I just want to show you what you might want to consider. This is your TP, right? This is your TP level in this scenario. Because what happens there, normally when price is remember what I was saying to you, if this was a stop, where price, you know, as you're trailing, boom, 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 you can now use that level where price can come down. And you see price goes there and then it turns around the same level and it goes up, okay? So you're trading in the direction of where the trend is. 4 hour, 1 hour, the color of the candles has changed with it, okay? Don't go against the trend. As they say, it's so cheesy, but it's so true. The trend is your friend, all right? So, exactly, don't trade, say never trade against the trend. All right, so any questions, guys? I'm going to go on the live chart in a minute, but this is really all we're doing. We're just following some basic rules. We can follow the colors, look at the high time frames, and do really well from the markets, okay? All right, so let me just move it on. I've only put a couple of these on there because I want to talk about gold. This is Nasdaq. Let me just talk about gold. These are probably one of the most traded assets on the planet, right? Gold traders and NQ, okay? Because, you know, anything that's got a lot of wiggle room, a lot of scope, pound, yen, anything like that, then people like trading those big moves, okay? So, best hours here, trading gold. Again, they found in the afternoon, 3 o'clock. This is a good time to trade AR. At night, during the Asian session, we had rallies, 14R, 8 o'clock, 80%, you know, all this stuff here, guys. In the evening as well. Again, this is Eastern time, add 5 hours for where you are. These were found by best performance, okay? So it wasn't just necessarily... Now you notice the New York, the NAS and the gold, New York and gold, it wasn't talking about 9 o'clock, 9 till 10. 9 to 10 where people lose a lot of money. Unless you really know what you're doing, you lose a lot of money because that's when the market opens. There's going to be a lot of bouncing around, all right? You don't want to be caught up in that. If you can make your profit before all of that noise, do it. Yeah, get it out of the way. So again, just showing you, these are gold alerts. Similar thing. If you did that, you just took the alert, wait for it to go grey, and you came out. Wait again. These entries at the beginning of the chart. Again, I don't know what time that was. We had this another alert, took us straight in. We read it all the way up to the top, and not one grey in sight. Again, similar scenario here. This is on I believe a 5 minute. I was testing on a 5 minute. 5 minute works really well. I was doing on a 1 minute before. This is a 5 minute. Even though these are potentially scalp trades, okay, you can be in these trades for more than an hour, right? So just watch this one. 5 minute, boom, we're in. We're riding this out all the way, guys. This is like you've gone from probably about an hour and 20 minutes, 15 minutes. You get the grey candle, and we're out, okay? There's a certain pattern which lets you know you're out. Again, get a red as the markets change. This is about an hour, 2 hours, about a couple of hours later, we get a sell going down the market, and we literally ride it all the way down. You only
Wow.
need one of these a day, my friend. Right? You only need one of them. When you finish the okay, cool. Yeah, no boys. No, Sandy. So yeah, you can just ride that all the way down, and then you can get in again. I'm testing it now on a 5 minute, and the 5 minute is like, whoa, these are serious. Whereas you might have come out a bit early on a 1 minute, because in 1 minute there's a lot more noise. But again, if you're scalping, you know your entries, you know your time. You just ride it, take your profit. You don't need to sit on these for the whole hour. And then we ride that one all the way. I don't know what that went on to do, but you can see the bigger silhouette. Can you see that? Is a 4 hour. It's a bit easier to see it on a 5 minute. And then within that is the hour. Just like here, the big silhouette is 4 hour. Within that, you've got 4 1 hours. You can see where the market totally changed. Again, it came back down to this level. This level was marked from way before. Price comes back to that level, turns around, goes the other direction. Okay, and we get the entry literally up here, and we again ride that down for a good hour and a half, and it's just pure red, my friends. Similar to this. All right, so that is it. I'm gonna switch before I go into the chart, the live chart. Any questions on what I've just shared?
Yeah, Leroy, I've got a few questions, mate.
All right, fantastic. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so you get the alerts on your phone. Now,
Yeah.
which pairs would you have just one pair set up or a few pairs set up to
Good
get the
question.
alerts for?
Yeah, let me show you. You can do it for as many different currency pairs that you like trading. I would personally recommend just kind of sticking to like one per se. Like I said, this has been optimized on gold and Nasdaq, but we've taken trades on all sorts of currencies. So I'll go to the chart, share the chart. Next question before we move on from there.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Then how long roughly do you have to place the trade once you get the signal?
Great question. So when you get the alert, I don't just put the trade on straight at the gate. I can look it on my phone and see what's going on. Like you can just eyeball it and see, oh, is this trade around a certain point? But in general, if you as long as everything kind of plays out, you gives you about I would say within about 5 minutes to place the next trade, to place the trade once you get the alert. Okay, so we'll look at some quick examples on the live chart to show you what happened on Thursday, for example. So you don't need to literally fret, because you do, especially on a minute alert, you do get that initial maybe retracement, little bit of pullback, and then it will go to the level. So you've got a few minutes to place the trade. 5 minutes, you give yourself about 5 minutes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, no
And
problem.
then I've never used TradingView.
Yeah.
So you've got TradingView on your phone, and that's
Yeah.
when it shows the silhouettes, the grey
Exactly.
candles, the red and the green candles, right?
Exactly.
So-
Exactly. Yeah. Let me.
And that's what you use to say, right, okay, this trade is kosher, let's place it. Once you see the right, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Once I see that set up, like here, let's just show you. This is actually the Nasdaq trade I was talking about. So on the live chart, this is quite interesting for those of you who trade the Nasdaq. Are you seeing? Am I showing? Yeah, I am showing that. For those of you who trade the Nasdaq, this was just after then all that noise that takes place at 9:30. We get this grey pullback candle, and then from 10 o'clock onwards, it's a monster, absolute monster. So yeah, so you can see the silhouette. There's a 4 hour. Within that is an hour, and then we place the trade.
But you'd see the same on your phone though, right?
Yeah. You'll install the TradingView app on your phone, and
Yeah.
same thing. Whatever you see here, it's a web based app. So you're just
Yeah.
logging in to your trading view on your phone, and boom, you'll see everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then would it tell you the take profits and the stop loss? Would it tell you that, or do you
Now
need to?
the TP levels and stuff like that are, I would say, it's not going to tell you necessarily what the TP is, but based on your level of entry, let's talk about this candle, for example, right?
Yeah.
If you place this trade here and your stop was below the candle, so as a measuring tool, let's say let's say I'm risking about 40 pips in, I'm just going to throw out some terminology there. There's just a measurement, 40 pips there, and I want to do 1, 2, 3. I want to do 2 times that, so I want to do at least 80. So you can say, all right, I'm getting in here. My risk is 40 on this trade, right? So I'm prepared to lose 40, but I want to at least make double. I want to make 80. And obviously this candle went up to 120. So that would be a 1 to 3 risk to reward. And then if you saw like, hey, we're still good. We've got this entry in a new candle. Let me go again. You could do the same thing. You could say, you know what? I'm prepared to risk another 40. So let's say just below that, risk another 40 there. And I'll stay in this until, again, I'll do 1 to 3. Now this obviously went on to do a 1 to, well, this candle here alone was almost a 1 to 9. So again, it just depends on your, like, which is why I say, whatever your goal is, you want to make, because you don't need to trade every day, first and foremost. In fact, there's a really good video I sent. I'll post it in the WhatsApp group about this lady, and she's talking about, not trading every day. But obviously, we're day traders. Well, I am intraday trader. I don't sit on my chart all day. Intraday, I make my profit and then I'm done. But once you know, I want to make 1 to 2% a day, or my goal is to make 5%, or I want to make 20% for the week. You can do that on just this trade alone. You'll be done. And if this was the beginning of the week, you wouldn't necessarily need to trade for the rest of the week. But it's all down to you how much you want to be trading for. But you will see on the chart there's levels you can add where it will literally tell you this is a level where you can go to. So you can add just the software you can do so much with, right? So much with. The other thing I would say to that, I'm going to add my VWAP to the chart. So again, you see how mad of respect the VWAP gets. Why I love it so much. Again, this is on the 5-minute. So I get the alert, and I actually stalled placing this trade because I was like, oh, it's so close to the VWAP, I'm not going to take it. I waited until it broke above it. Yeah. So because it was close to the hour, and I knew we're going to get a bit of turbulence, right? So this is where the grey candle comes in, sits on what the VWAP is. Remember what I was talking about, the break and retest? It broke the VWAP line, the blue one, came back, sat on it, and then it took off. And that was a catapult that, literally, was just a monster trade on that move. So hopefully that answers your question regarding the TP levels. The other thing I use for TP, as I mentioned at the start, once I add my VWAP, that is a really good line for TP levels. This could have been TP1, for example. You made a little profit here, and this could have been your TP2 level. And then I like to see how far these things can go, especially when I start seeing some grey. Then I'm like, all right, I'm out. It's done. It's exhausted. But if otherwise, I could have missed out. And I just like to see how far the software will alert me before, because most people would have left money on the table. The moment they saw the grey candle, they were out. And then they go back to the chart and they were like, oh my goodness, look what Nas did. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what I love about the VWAP. No worries, Parag, we'll catch up. And what was the other? I saw Russell. You have your hand up, or did you? Or was that old?
Yeah, I did have my hand up, Leroy.
Okay.
I think you had a screen up just before, which was, I think, a gold trade.
Oh yeah. Let me go back
You
to my
had
PowerPoint.
you had the 4-hour box with the 1 hour sessions in it.
Okay, let me just go back here. PowerPoint. Okay, so this is gold. Oh, well, this is gold. I don't think I had it listed on there, but on the Nasdaq ones, I did have like the momentum. I mean, this is the same as a 4-hour. On the gold would be the same.
Yeah, no, it was I think it was the screen after that.
Okay, let me go slowly. Got that one. This is when I start to talk about gold. Those were the 2 entries.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, that one. Okay. Yeah.
So would you you're not going to stay in the trade for the whole 4 hours, because I was looking after the second hour and it starts to go up. Again, if you stayed in, you'd probably lose it. You quite lose your margin.
You're talking this one here, the first rung.
No, the second one. The red.
Oh, the red one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the red one, let me just bring my highlighter on. So the red one, when I get in on this candle here, like, you know, again, the you may not see it so clear, but there is this candle here is a bit of a pushback. We do go down, but I do like when price literally breaks, it shows me its hand. So we get a bit of a pushback there, and then it breaks to go down. But we are literally in this candle from up here, and then the second hour. And for me, like, this will be obviously the TP level for one, and then the next TP could be here before this grey candle comes up. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I wanted to see where your TP levels were.
Okay,
before
yeah.
The grey.
Right. Yeah. So this candle here, this line here would have given me my TP. This candle literally bounced right on my VWAP line. So I would have probably driven a rough line around here, and this line here as well, because the software prints these lines. So I would have had a line marked here, and this one candle hit 1, 2, and then we had this line here, which I drew on from a previous level. So all of these different levels the software puts on here, these could obviously be some fractions of TP levels, but to be honest, from the time we've ridden this down, you probably would have hit your goal for the day, unless you want to see how far would this go. And it even went as far down as this one here. You see this yellow dots? Yeah, this one here, this was a true rejection where it went that far and then it rejected. But again, these are all like printed on the chart for you, so you can kind of use your discretion as to how much profit you want to be sitting in this trade for.
Okay, and then would you have traded when it went back up in our start of hour 3?
Okay, yeah, so probably by then I would be. If I had this, I wouldn't have been in the market again. If I had this one, I wouldn't even have looked at the red one, because this one was a monster. This one was another monster for an hour and so. And again, this one here, I don't know what the time frames are for these, but yeah, they probably would have. They would have made my goal quite successful. You know, my goal. Any one of them would have hit my goal profit target for the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So yeah, so with these, you don't even, you know, and for some traders, it's their goal for the week. They're like, dude, I've hit 20 odd %, which is insane, guys. You know what I mean? With it's insane returns. If you look at, you know, your risk to reward is what I'm talking about here. It's not even so much how much money we're making, but how much risk are we putting on these trades? We're putting a small risk. Gold has a lot, it's very volatile, as we know, it had big wicks and stuff like that. So if you've got a stop up here and you rid that down, you're risking, like I said, 1 unit. Let's say you risk that. That's your risk. And then this is your profit. You probably wouldn't need to trade again for the week, to be honest.
No.
You know what I mean? It's insane. So when these ping, they don't just ping like, you know, randomly just for the sake of it. They ping when there's a really good formation taking place. Again, following the rules, high time frame, the body on the 4 hour, and then the hour time frame matches this. In this case, it's a 5 minute. I'm only testing a 5 minute. The guys who do the calls and they focus on the 1 minute, but I noticed on a 5 minute it was absolute fire. The alerts that came through. So so clear my drawings. Wow, I'm at the hour mark already. My goodness. So
Leroy,
yeah, who's that?
it's Glenn. Sorry,
Glenn,
sorry, mate.
all right. Yeah.
I saw your message really late, so I jumped on kind of late because I'm actually out walking at the moment.
No way.
I just sat
Make sure
down.
you're drinking your water. Yeah, go on.
I got water with me, man. I'm walking on the golf course at the moment.
Nice.
So listen, couple of things.
Yeah.
Have you? This is recorded, right? So I can get.
This is yeah. I'll see the recording.
All right. Second thing is, how long has this been kind of running? Because the market's been mad the last month and a half. You know, with the volatility.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
So I mean, is it optimized for general situation, or is it really man because of the volatility at the moment? We're getting some good return.
This has been a couple of years in the works, and with the volatility that's going on, this is why I'm loving it, because I'm able to pinpoint these trades. I mean, this chart here is like this week, on being able to get in on these mad moves and ride them out. So yeah, this has been pretty awesome in that regard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So the other thing is, as they looked at the Dow in any way?
No.
US. Okay.
No. They focus on the Nas, and focused on the and gold.
All right. So I definitely want to have
the Dow.
Yeah. I definitely want to take a look at stuff, see how it runs though. But the only thing is, looking at some of these moves, because that we're doing prop firms. I mean,
yes.
Some of these wicks would kind of destroy you. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm just worried about.
Absolutely,
yeah.
They can do, which is why they typically trade on a minute, and people are doing well from what I'm seeing, trading, the props and stuff like that. But once you mentioned the Dow, I'm just gonna switch the screen, and I'm gonna have to wrap up in a minute. Let me go here. US 30. Right, so this is it changed? Yeah, this is the chart. This is the US 30 chart on a 5 minute. So again, I've not really looked at the Dow whatsoever, but we had this same move as we saw Nas, and this is on a 5 minute. Again, I would wait for this whole period here, where the VWAP is, because that would have been a TP. If you went in here, you would have used this as a TP, come out and waited for it to go from grey to green. Then you go and you ride that out till you see your first grey. Unless this move here in itself, that wick is violent, my friends. This is violent. 1035.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like passing the eval stages. And so for those of you who don't, we just spoke about prop. For those of you who don't know what prop firms are, these are companies that will give you money to trade based on their rules. You do not break their rules. Like, you can't lose more than a certain percentage in a day. You can't, do these crazy moves. But on your own money, you can do what the heck you want. But these companies, you can spend like less than $100, $50, $40. You can get accounts that will trade for 50,000 in actual demo money. But as long as you can prove that you can actually trade and pass during their what we call the evaluation stage, you can then go on to actually be in a situation where you can actually start pulling from live money based on you following their rules. Each company is different. I'm checking out another company just today. I'm actually thinking of buying an account with them. So every company is different, but it's definitely seems to be worth going down that route. Okay, but again, you can start with your own money. Just even just demo money. Just start with demo. Test it out on a demo, just so that you're familiar with and then go live. I'm a big believer in going live as opposed to demo money. Demo money you have no feeling for. You can literally walk away from your screen and nothing's going to happen. You could be the best trader trading $1 million on a demo, and the worst trader when it comes to actually live money in the markets, because it's a different market. All right, different emotions. So that's on the 5 minute. Let me just show you to a 1 minute on the Dow on Thursday. This is Friday. Yeah, Thursday. Here we go. Thursday night. Let me just bring that into view. Whoa, donkey. And we got that same move on a minute. And we read that out. So we got the alert. Again, this is a period around 9:30. You're not messing about with the markets there. You're going to get these alerts. Just ignore the heck out of them. Wait till after 9:30, 9:45 ideally. There is a strategy that I really like trading called the orb. I'm not going to talk about it today, but that keeps you out of the noise. And if you just take the trades after that period, 9:45 onwards, some people do it from 9:35 onwards, then you are going to be in a better situation. Just show you on a minute. You get the trade alert on the minute. You ride it up to the first TP level. You come out, as you can see, the grey candle would have taken you out anyway. But if you was eyeballing it, you wait for it to go from grey to green. And then, again, I would wait for it personally, for it to break the VWAP. And then I go live because it breaks it, it tests it, it sits on it, and then you go. But you could literally go from grey to green, place a trade just below the VWAP level, and you're not touched. It's not even, there's no retracement that will touch back to the candle. Will that always happen? No, which is why sometimes I like to wait for it to just hit the VWAP and go. But if you don't have time and you just want to take the trades as they come, just do that. And I find just adding the VWAP lets you visually see where price can hit and where you can place a new trade from, and continuation. It's a continuation trade. The first trade, you bank some profit. If anything, it's a little buffer to say, even if this trade went against you, it's not going to touch you because you've already made some money as a buffer. And when this trade kicks off now, which is where the real money's at, you ride it up and you don't come out potentially until you hit your top profit target or until you see your first grey candle. First grey candle, it's done. Moves over. All right, guys, thanks for your time. I will do another session like this, especially for those who want to know more. Now, there is, like I said, this software is a paid software. You can do what I did without buying the software. But for me, I think the price, which is, I think it starts from $139. My version is $200, which has the live coaching with the guy who created it. For me, that was worth its weight in gold. When he told me that 7 a.m., even though I slept through it, that to trade the NAS, that's the information I want. And he talks about, for those of you who are traders, about order blocks, about, fair value gaps, about all this stuff that you may want to know. But for those of you who don't want to know and want to click a button when everything lights up like a traffic light, then you can do the same thing that everybody else does. Click the button, place the trades, and you're good to go. All right. Thanks very much for your time, guys. I'm going to see the Gooners get qualified for the next round of the FA Cup. Don't know about you, but that's my goal. Take care. Have a good one. And I'll send this in the group. And if you want to be part of the group to find out about more, then let me know. I'll send you the WhatsApp group. All right. Take care. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome.